Hello, this is John T. Rhapsodes Esquire, Purveyor of Awesome Old-School Audio Stories, bringing you a short spooky one today from 1905 called An Arrest by Ambrose Bierce. One question posed by the following story is whether it was all worth it to the protagonist. Likely not. Hear the words of old. An Arrest by Ambrose Bierce from 1905. Having murdered his brother-in-law, Orrin Brower of Kentucky was a fugitive from justice. From the county jail where he had been confined to await his trial, Brower had escaped by knocking down his jailer with an iron bar, robbing him of his keys, and, opening the outer door, walking out into the night. The jailer being unarmed, Brower got no weapon with which to defend his recovered liberty. As soon as he was out of town, he had the folly to enter a forest. This was many years ago, when that region was wilder than it is now. The night was pretty dark, with neither moon nor stars visible, and as Brower had never dwelt thereabout, and knew nothing of the lay of the land, he was, naturally, not long in losing himself. He could not have said if he were getting farther away from the town or going back to it, a most important matter to Orrin Brower. He knew that in either case a posse of citizens with a pack of bloodhounds would soon be on his track, and his chance of escape was very slender. But he did not wish to assist in his own pursuit. Even one added hour of freedom was worth having. Suddenly Brower emerged from the forest into an old road, and there before him saw, indistinctly, the figure of a man, motionless in the gloom. It was too late to retreat. The fugitive felt that at the first movement back toward the woods, he would be, as he afterward explained, filled with buckshot. So the two stood there like trees, Brower nearly suffocated by the activity of his own heart. The other, well, the emotions of the other are not recorded. A moment later, it may even have been an hour, the moon sailed into a patch of unclouded sky, and the hunted man saw that visible embodiment of law lift an arm and point significantly toward and beyond him. Brower understood the gesture. Turning his back to his captor, Brower walked submissively away in the direction indicated, looking to neither the right nor the left. Hardly daring to breathe, his head and back actually aching with a prophecy of buckshot. Brower was as courageous a criminal as ever lived to be hanged. That was shown by the conditions of awful personal peril in which he had coolly killed his brother-in-law. It is needless to relate the facts here. They came out at his trial, and the revelation of his calmness in confronting them came near to saving his neck. But what can be done? When a brave man is beaten, he submits. So they pursued their journey jailward, along the old road through the woods. Only once did Brower venture a turn of the head. Just once, when he was in deep shadow and he knew that the other was in moonlight, he looked backward. His captor was Burton Duff, the jailer, as white as death and bearing upon his brow the livid mark of the iron bar. Orrin Brower had no further curiosity. Eventually, Brower and Duff entered the town, which was all alight but deserted. Only the women and children remained, and they were off the streets, while the men ran with the posse. Straight toward the jail the criminal held his way. Straight up to the main entrance Brower walked, laid his hand upon the knob of the heavy door, pushed it open without command, entered, and found himself in the presence of half a dozen armed men. Then Brower turned to look behind him. His captor did not enter. Brower then looked forward and saw on a table in the corridor the dead body of Burton Duff, the jailer. And that concludes Ambrose Bierce's 1905 ghost story called An Arrest. This is John T. Rhapsodies Esquire, purveyor of awesome old-school audio stories. Thank you for listening. You can find more stories like this in the channel's playlists. Find them by going to the channel homepage and clicking on the playlists icon. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear more, please help me earn the warm embrace of Mr. and Mrs. YouTubes who look with loving favor upon those channels whose listeners faithfully subscribe, like, comment, click the notification bell, and share the videos with their friends so that they too can hear the words of old.